It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.
Welcome in the arena, the show where courage meets commitment and conversations matter. Brought to you by LifeVac, because when seconds count, preparation saves lives. This is the place where leaders, first responders, innovators, and everyday heroes step forward to share what drives them into the fight, not away from it. Today, we're honored to welcome a very special guest, Bonnie Rumili, a passionate voice, a force for good, and someone who understands that real impact happens when purpose meets action. Bonnie brings insight, heart, and a perspective shaped by experience and service. So settle in, lean in, and get ready, because this isn't something. It's
not the sideline.
I was just watching Ryan read along the whole time. His eyes go like this.
Yeah, in case anyone's wondering, there is a teleprompter involved, and
but he memorizes it most. Rick doesn't.
Got a little nutty. Got a little nutty.
You don't use it.
No, barely.
He's done it enough.
Go blank yourself, San Diego. So before we get going, I'd like to, come clean. And really, a lot of times I'll, in a self-deprecating tone, say that I'm not responsible. I'm barely able to leave the house unsupervised.
I think I know where we're going.
I proved that twice this weekend. I was responsible for booking not only my return flight, but Patrick O'Rourke's return flight. And for some reason, I thought maybe a good time to return was March.
The day after St. Patrick's Day, maybe. Not February 18th, maybe March 18th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I went through
enjoying the weather a little too much. You didn't want to leave.
I guess that's what we'll say.
Yeah.
I should have known, though, because I couldn't check in. The 24-hour check-in, I'm like, that's odd. I'm just going to go to the airport and I'll print up a pass. And then when I got to the airport, I was like, but he was talking all day on Sunday about I had to redo mine.
Yes.
I probably should have looked at mine.
Yeah,
I was there for three more days, not worrying about it.
Let's be honest, we should have looked at it together.
That's why we have Allison book all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. But what a weekend in Fort Myers. Big turnout. Valentine's Day. Yeah. Very romantic. One of the most romantic cities in America. If you have a fake hip or knee. There's a lot of people with fake hips and knees in Fort Myers.
And what did we read? Who else besides Thomas Edison and someone else called Fort Myers their winter home?
Yeah, but it was like an obscure name. Yeah, I forget who it was.
Yeah.
I was surprised by Thomas Edison, though. That was where he started his winter labs down there. So he built it.
Nice.
Oh, the Ringling Brothers are huge down there, too.
But wait till you hear our first guest, Bonnie Rumili.
Was she ever in the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey?
I don't think she was in. She has a vast background, but I don't think she was in the Ringling Brothers. But she's a licensed clinical social worker specializing in the treatment of adults and first responders, and has worked in Newtown treating trauma directly after the Sandy Hook school shootings. In addition to co-hosting her weekly Responder Resilience podcast, she also co-leads a weekly peer support group of first responders along with Dr. Stacy Raymond. Her passion is clinically working with first responders, and she joins us this evening from Connecticut. Welcome.
Thanks so much for inviting me on. I was really excited about this.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you because I'm intrigued with the EDMR, and so why don't you explain? Did I see? I already screwed it up, so I need help.
You can't spell Mr. Ed with it.
If there's
I think you can, right? Can you spell Mr. Ed?
If we needed any more further evidence, I need your help.
I figured that out already.
Yes.
It's interesting because in the beginning, you guys were bantering and talking, and you said, I see your eyes going back and forth on that teleprompter. And I'd love to talk about EMDR because a lot of it has to do, the real name of it is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a real mouthful. So we call it EMDR for short. But it's an incredibly effective trauma treatment methodology for first responders especially. We see that it works with everyone, civilians included, but what do first responders do? They like to jump into action, fix a problem, and then get back from it.
And move on to the next one, right?
Exactly. And so what we're able to do with EMDR is get in there, tap into their brain's natural healing mechanism, and we can get them to the other side of it. So it's our way of first responding their brain, if you want to think of it that way.
Could you go through it, and I'll sign the HIPAA release, but could you deal with, like, say, my childhood trauma or something to that, like how it would work? I know there's 8 phases to the treatment.
Yes, there are 8 phases. You've done your homework.
A little bit.
So, look, there's a wide gamut of what trauma really is, right? We have little T's, we have bigger T's, like a 9/11 or a Sandy Hook situation. People can come to first responder work with a bucket full from childhood. We know this, we see it time and time again, that what lends itself to first responders being first responders is comfort and practice with chaos. And that's usually what they get in their childhood. Occasionally, you meet a responder who had a great childhood with their family, and that's not the case. But what we can do is go back and work through that childhood. We've got some responders who went on to be in the military after that childhood, and now they're first responders. Those are 3 buckets we need to unpack. But the great thing about it is I can work with you on something that happened yesterday, or I can work with you on something that happened 50 years ago. And there's no difference in the retention of those things, and we see the same effect.
Well, we need her.
Yeah.
Our child.
Yeah. So Pat and I both lost our dads at a very young age, traumatically. I mean, I guess so easy way to lose a parent, but one was plane crash, and Pat's father was killed in a car accident. Thankfully, Roadshow Ryan Warner, his dad is here.
Right there.
In this, yeah.
Don't drive
Well, that
home.
makes
Okay,
one
like-
of the 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are traumas that stick with us lifelong. I don't need to tell you that it impacts us in different ways when you lose a parent in childhood. But we have a lot of responders who have that same story, and when
so
they
how
come
would
in,
how would it work for someone like myself, who is not a first responder? Do you also work with civilians?
yes.
Yeah.
So how it works is we sit down, we do a really thorough intake and a history with you. You know, we go through every part of your life from birth until now. And we're really looking for what were adverse childhood experiences. There's something called an ACEs scale that we look at. We ask a lot of questions rather around some of those incidents that may have happened. And look, there are people that have traumatic events that also don't identify them as such. I've had people in my office who say, well, is the death of a parent a trauma? I think so. Yes. Would I put a label on that? For sure, just as you did. But people don't walk around sort of putting this label on everything that happens in their life. So myself as a therapist, I sit down and I do a very thorough intake with people so that I don't leave a stone unturned.
And what's the next step? So for my case, I identify it. I was 3 years old. Dad is in a small plane crash, and now all these years later, I'm still harboring some of it. Was it certainly unresolved?
Yeah. So what we would talk about is your symptoms and how is this showing up in your life? Because the one thing you better get your list out because the one thing we know.
We'll just keep going.
Does wisecracking come into play? Because both of us suffered in elementary school from a wisasitis. I mean, it was running rampant for both of us.
They put us on pills nowadays. Hyperactive nowadays. I think.
Could that be, all seriousness, could that be part of it?
Yes, it can be.
Getting
Yes,
attention?
absolutely. Trauma can impact your ability to pay attention. It can look like hyperactivity. Sometimes in kids, it actually gets misdiagnosed as ADHD or ADD. We also have a lot of adults coming in getting those diagnoses now, by the way. But to your point, the next part is figuring out how does this impact your life now? Because what we know about trauma is that it stays in the brain and in the body. So how is it manifesting day to day? How is it living and breathing and causing you an issue now? And some of it may be subconscious. You may not be aware of it. And some of it you very well may be aware of. Like you just said, you've had this gallus humor, right? And that could have been a coping skill that got built in as well.
Well, they always just told us that's because, in my case, you're Irish, so that's what the Irish do to get over grief. They just make
Joke
fun.
around.
Yeah, and I definitely know what you're talking about because I have 5 siblings, and I think it affected us all differently. We all have reacted differently to it over our lives. But getting back to the point, my son became a firefighter down in Charleston, South Carolina, and I think he had a great upbringing, no trauma. So I think he's one of those few guys who he got in the business anyway. But he said. He's done it 2.5 years. After the first year, I said, what's surprised you the most? He goes,
How much?
You see a lot of dead people. You go to calls where they're already dead. You see people die. You know, and he goes, that was like, you know, something you got to get used to. So I'm sure you're dealing with stuff like that all the time, especially with these, you know, major incidents and things like that.
For sure. Most people are not used to the gruesome or grotesque scenes we come upon. I mean, there are things that you couldn't conjure up in a story or a movie. And to see that or to read about it is one thing, but to be there, to be handling that person, to be dealing with them after they've been choking, gone unconscious, that's a totally different ball game. And yeah, there is something that you really have to get used to as a responder. And some of those calls stick with you. I think they stick with all of us in different ways. You know, we have something that a colleague of mine, Dr. Robbie Adler Tapia out in Arizona, has taught some of us. And it's really, we have a parade of faces. You know, if I close my eyes, I can see that little parade of EMS calls that will always be there.
Or even how can anyone get over Sandy Hook? I mean, you know, that's kids. I mean,
what role did you play there?
Right. So when the shootings happened, I went up and did some crisis counseling about 3 days later. And I learned very, very quickly that this was long-term work. This was not going to be, I'm here for a little while and leave. I made a commitment to stay, and I ended up working at a really great agency in Newtown called Newtown Youth and Family Services for about 4.5 years. We gave therapy to families. We gave it to, you know, everybody you could think of in the community who was impacted, including first responders. And so that's when I really clicked my two worlds together, I would say, when I was sitting with the responders in Newtown who had to help out that day. I realized this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping my brothers and sisters.
So Responder Resilience is your podcast, and that was, you said 21. Was it a direct result of your work?
Well, so I was already a trauma therapist with first responders, and David Dashinger is a retired firefighter out of Richfield, Connecticut. And he had seen my colleague Stacy and I do some work together, and he said, wow, you guys have great chemistry. You know, you get along well, you really connect with the first responders that are around you. What about a podcast? And we kind of looked at each other like, you know, what do I know about a podcast? That was never on my list of dreams to have come true. But I said, okay, I'll try anything. I'm not the kind of person that says no. You know, I'm always ready and gung ho. So we did it.
You can reach so many more people with the work.
Well, look what you're doing. You know, it's the same thing.
Say, what do we know about podcasting?
Yeah, you're
we
a
might
veteran.
say the same.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's been such a rewarding experience. We love it. It's really become such a huge part of our life. And we got to then pivot from the podcast, and we had a book that came out in the fall, actually, as a result of all the material we had with the podcast. So that's also been really,
yeah, of course.
It's called Helping the Helpers, the Clinician's Guide to First Responder Mental Wellness. So it's amazing that we were able to take the material of over 200 hours of podcasting and create a book out of it.
Fantastic.
We couldn't do that here.
Yeah. What
We have
does
like 4 pages.
unprocessed trauma look like over time? So it's not dealt with.
Yep.
It kind of sublimated, I guess, and then it comes up later.
Well, it can turn into depression, PTSI, anxiety. We can have it exhibiting in our sleep or lack thereof, nightmares. Some people have really difficult times in interpersonal relationships, like divorces or parenting issues. They might have substance abuse. So unfortunately, when trauma is unprocessed, it turns into other things, and it generally progressively gets worse.
Okay. And what's the resistance like? Do you find greater resistance from first responders who may be too proud to admit there's an issue?
I think once they're here, no, but it's getting them here that's the issue. It's the stigma that we all have to fight and that we all have to really challenge them on, you know, and we're making great strides. I think we're making really great strides with first responders, and we're starting to shift that culture. It feels different than it did 5 years ago. I'm really grateful to say. It's really that stigma that we have to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And once they get here, they're willing to trust us. You know, as long as we as therapists can talk to them, respect them, understand their culture. That's something that we really talk about a lot on our podcast, which is, you need to be with clinicians who understand your culture. You know, the Gallus humor or the jokes that you were making before, you know, I
They were
can roll
bad.
with that. I can
Yeah.
roll with it, you know, but for a first responder to come into a therapist's office and joke about, you know, bodies and stuff, a lot
Yeah.
of therapists look at that and say, wow, that's disturbing. You
Yes.
know, whereas we understand that's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. Can you stick around?
Yeah, sure
We'd
thing.
love to see you on the other side. Quick message from LifeVac. Don't leave home.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Daddy.
That was us over 10 years ago.
Now LifeVac is responsible for saving over 4,000 lives from choking.
In the time it takes you to pick up the phone and call, another life could be saved.
The LifeVac saved my life in 1 to 2 seconds.
Protecting families has always been our mission. I'm sure you love your family like I love my daughter. Do us all a favor and get your own LifeVac now.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-LifeVac. Order now.
Hey, welcome back in the arena. Thank you, Pat, for that verbal cue. That's almost like Pavlovian dog.
Yes.
I'm ready to
Hear
go
Mike
when
Rowe.
you go
Oh,
boom, boom, boom. It's no joke.
That's right.
When you choke. Do
Barbershop.
you like our little theme song, Bonnie?
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I want to hear
That's
some
actually
more
Mike
of it.
Rowe. Yeah.
Yeah. So Arthur appeared on Mike Rowe's podcast, and that was one of the byproducts of the appearance was we able to steal. And to be honest, we're not sure if we could use it, but we'd love the attention of a nice.
We're hoping
juicy
we get big
lawsuit.
enough where they notice we're using it.
We did get told to stop using "The Man in the Arena," which was the original. We had a version that it was sung, and we put it to music. I mean, we put the music to pictures, a nice montage, and we did get a note from the production company saying you can't use that.
Cease
It's trademarked.
and desist.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we're the #1 growing podcast in America.
That's right. Doubling
See?
by the week.
Wow, that's great.
Show is
Well,
that
we're
type
up to
of
like 32.
information.
It's a slow process.
So back to your arena. You partnered with, obviously you have someone with you on the podcast, and you partner in other ways. Are you part of like a group practice up there in Connecticut?
Well, so right now I have my own private practice, but I am part of a really, really unique team called the Fairfield County Trauma Response Team. We are a nonprofit. There are, I believe, 32 of us as of this week. And the really neat thing is that each one of us has our own practice, or a couple of people work at an agency. But what we do is specialize in first responders. So we go out and do debriefings for local departments and agencies. We go give trauma talks and education so that our first responders understand what's happening to them and how to get treatment for it. We talk to them about EMDR. The other great thing is that because we all have private practices, if a first responder needs therapy, they can reach out for a confidential referral, and we will place them with one of our team members. So we take a lot of that middleman hard stuff. I mean, I'll tell you what gets me really upset is when I have a responder that comes in here and says, I called 10 therapists, no one called me back. It is not okay. We're not doing good enough for our responders in this country. So for us on our team, we take their call as a 911 call. If they call, we need to respond because we're their 911.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there with the need and the kind of the lack of help and support on the national level. I spent 30 years in pharma sales and saw different specialties and different needs. When it came to psych or mental health, there was no one takes insurance, no one's taking new patients. Your best bet was to go to the emergency room. Your only option, which you know, I wanted you to hit on something that you mentioned before about the stigma. Not only attaches, I guess it attaches to therapy as well as medication, correct?
Yes. So that's an interesting point that you're making. So in terms of the medication piece, a lot of my first responders are very, very fearful of medication because they see, here's why, they see the underbelly of medication in society. You know, they see the patients that are on too many medications and they're lethargic, or they see someone who overdoses on their medication. And so what that holds inside the first responder is, okay, medications are not great. right? They can be dangerous. And so what I'm seeing a lot of lately is actually a fear of the medications. And I'm trying to do some work with them on, look, what you see on these calls is certainly different than sitting in front of a prescriber who does this every day, who can take all of your symptoms into account. And the other thing is, I'm only going to refer these responders, or any client for that matter, to someone that I trust, like someone that I know is conservative, but also looks at their entire picture and makes sure that we're not just leaning on a medication to help things, that we're doing therapy in conjunction with medication.
That's the best approach, right?
Yes.
The team approach to it. Where there's medication, there definitely needs to be the therapy component. And how does it, obviously it works with the eyes, but how does it differ from CBT?
So CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. That's really having someone pick apart their thoughts and how they respond to thoughts, and then how their behavior then is impacted by those thoughts. So that's more of a conscious tool or skill that we're teaching people. With the EMDR, we work on that bilateral stimulation. So we work on getting both sides of the brain working to process that information. And that happens through eye movement. We also have a tool called the tappers. And it's this little device where people will hold a vibrating plastic piece in each hand. And it literally goes bilaterally from one side to the next. So that is really mimicking REM sleep. When we're in that REM, rapid eye movement sleep, that's when our brain processes.
Wow. Could you give us a little flavor for it? Say you were talking to me as the patient for the first time.
Sure. So let's say you were in a car accident a few months ago and it's really bothering you. Maybe you're having some nightmares. Maybe you're avoiding that road where it happened. Maybe you're trying to get other people to drive you places, right? Those are kind of the symptoms we might see. So what I would say to you in the office is, tell me what the worst part of that incident is. And you might say to me, well, it's the white flash in front of my face of the airbag deploying. Or you might say it's the sound of the crashing glass. And I'll say, okay, so that's where we're going to start. And then I'll ask you the I statement. Can you put that into words? And maybe you boil it into, I'm not in control. This thing happened to me out of nowhere. I'm not in control. And so we would hold the I statement, and we would hold the worst part of that memory for you. And then we would go ahead and process. And if we were virtual, I'd be doing this. If we were in person, I'd be doing this. And we do sets of that. So the therapist kind of titrates how many times our fingers pass back and forth. And we stop. And that's when we check in with you about what happened during that set. And you might say, well, I don't see the white anymore. I actually see a first responder coming to help me. And so the brain is shifting. It's processing that trauma, because what happened with the accident is it got log jammed in your brain and your brain didn't know what to do with it. So it rattled around and created symptoms. And so what we're really doing is helping the brain process it, but then to store it in a nice, neat file where it should be, not smacking you in the face.
I've seen eye movement coaching in terms of falling asleep, where you look up, look down, both sides, and then circular. Is this in some way related?
I think the principles are similar. I think what you're describing is more of a brain spotting, which absolutely does have merit. A lot of people get results with brain spotting. So there are a lot of these different modalities. And sometimes people do well when they have a couple of things at the same time. You can use CBT with EMDR. It's very effective, because I might do EMDR with you on that accident, but you still may have developed this fear of driving down that road. So I may be challenging you, okay, when you think of getting in the car, this is what we're going to do differently. You're going to see a stop sign in your mind, and you're going to choose the healthy road for yourself. So we can use different therapies, different modalities in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, you mentioned before that you're a non-for-profit, or that one aspect. I mean, do you get resistance from insurance companies on getting reimbursed for the work you're doing? Great work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So frankly, a lot of us in our private practices do not take insurance because it is so onerous a process to call and fight and to try to get coverage for your clients. A lot of us What we do instead for the first responders is offer a sliding scale, and we go to whatever amount is feasible, comfortable, and is not going to strain their life. The last thing we want to do is place down another barrier or place in another stressor, because the first responders that come to us have tons of stressors already. And so we don't want this to be one of them. So that's how a lot of us, we will give something that they can put into the insurance to get reimbursed. But again, when we do that sliding scale, we're putting it into a place where it's affordable.
Yeah. Do you work with other, go ahead.
No,
That was going to be me.
Yeah.
So for first responders out there that might be listening, what would be, maybe if they're not in Connecticut, I know you said you do virtual.
Mhm.
What would be
Yes.
the first step that they could take to contact you? Do you have a website?
Well, so I have a LinkedIn or an Instagram, but something just to keep in mind, we can see clients in the state that we're licensed in, right? So me personally, I'm licensed in Connecticut, so I can see Connecticut people. But I will tell you, there's a wonderful site that's kind of our mothership. It's called emdria.org, EMDRIA.org.
We'll put this in post.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
Anybody can go on to emdria.org and click the Find a Therapist button. You can filter it. You can go in there and set it to first responders. You put in your location. If you need to go through insurance, you put in, whatever your insurance company is, and it will give you a directory of people closest to you.
That's a great question. The fact that you bring up, you can only, is that a restriction that needs to go away? Where you can,
We would love that. I know that there are efforts to have interstate compacts, for National Association of Social Workers, and probably some of the other branches are looking at it. They're doing it in the EMS world as well. I know Donnie Woodyard is doing the interstate EMS.
we had him on our show.
You did.
Crazy small world, isn't
No,
it?
that's great.
Yeah,
So
he's
I
great.
watch his work. We're hoping to have him soon as well, but we've been watching his work. Yeah, to answer your question, the state line thing, it's really challenging. And for me, if it's a barrier, then how can we work with that so it's not a barrier any longer for people?
Yeah. Can you explain what's going on in the brain during therapy?
Sure. In general therapy or in EMDR?
EMDR.
Okay. So what's happening is our brains actually have neuroplasticity. Our brain wants to heal. I don't know if you've seen those
Most
great
of us, I'm not
memes.
sure. I'm not
Well,
sure.
you might be a special case, but
I'm a
if you've
special
seen some of those really neat videos on Instagram, there'll be a little snapshot of a brain actually rewiring or growing new networks. So what we know with EMDR is not only are we tackling the trauma, but we're creating new neural pathways, and the brain is growing, the brain is healing. And something beautiful that we don't talk enough about, because I think there's so much negative we can speak of, is that topic of post-traumatic growth. It is so, so special, honorable to watch a first responder when they've finished their treatment with you and they go on to say, you know what, I have the strength to go and promote now, or I want to be a leader in my department, or I want to go be the father that I haven't been because of all this. And it's such a beautiful thing to watch when someone's brain truly is healed.
Amazing stuff. You mentioned before about the stigma that there's certainly still is a stigma around mental health in tactical and high performance communities. How do we start breaking down both stigmas?
The more we tell them it's okay, the better it is. People need permission to get help. People need the barriers that prevent them from that help to go away. Quite honestly, in a lot of departments or agencies, it's coming from the leadership, the stigma. So we need to work with the leaders as well and psychoeducate them and let them know that they're going to actually get better work out of their employees if their employees are taking care of their mental and physical health.
That's really awesome. What's the most rewarding part? You've spoke before about, seeing that treatment come to fruition, but
yeah,
is that the most rewarding part for you?
It's so rewarding to watch a responder. I mean, any client really, but especially a first responder who's come in, they've faced it, they've done the work, and they're motivated to go help their brothers and sisters. I love it when they leave the office and they say, I'm going to go tell all my buddies about this because they need the help too. And, you know, recently I had a client bring me a little something for Christmas. I opened the box and it was this glass angel. And he said, thank you so much. You gave me my life back.
Wow.
And honestly, that's a moment that I take so much to heart. You know, I could get teary-eyed here. We're not going to do that.
No, that's what this show's about.
But you know what I mean. But
We
that
often
moment,
cry and then laugh 10 seconds later. So,
but that moment, I mean, that there's nothing more important to me than knowing that I was able to help someone change their life for the better.
Yeah. Before you talked about Sandy Hook, how long in the aftermath, I forget what year that was, but how long after Sandy Hook were you still working with the after effects?
So it happened in 2012, and I came there. So I was there about 4.5 years. So to answer that question, the entire 4.5 years was still helping people. When I left, there was still a very long wait list of people waiting.
So I imagine there's still work to be done in that regard.
Yes. And I think the other thing that I learned by being there was that this is work that's going to span generations. It's not 5 or 10 year work. We're talking decades of healing that has to happen in a community and in families.
Wow. So here's a question we ask all our guests. Were you, before hearing from Roadshow Ryan Warner, familiar with LifeVac?
I was. I watched it as an EMT, actually. I would see ads for it in magazines or online. I didn't know about it as a therapist, but I always kind of wondered, you know, wow, is that something we could use on the ambulance? And I didn't look into it, but I'm happy to know that what you were telling me before is that it's available to agencies as well, not just civilians in their home.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the marketing is to, we just got back from the National Sheriff's Association winter meeting where about a dozen agencies got equipped with LifeVac in each patrol car. Because on average, we find that across the country, police officers, not that we don't talk to everyone else, but they show up first.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you find in Connecticut?
Yeah, it's different in every town, but where I was doing EMS, yes, the police are the first responders in that town. And so giving them something like this is vital. You know, I think having a tool like this is amazing. It's something that we couldn't have imagined.
Yeah. Do you go? We're not going to EMS. You went to EMS World, right?
Yeah, I went last
Indianapolis, right?
Yep.
FDIC?
We'll be at FDIC.
We'll be at FDIC. You're going to be there?
Not this year, but you'll see David. He's my podcast buddy.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a remote. We can pull it off, right? A remote shoot.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, in the closing minutes, what other exciting things you have going on this year?
Lots of exciting things. Of that you can be sure of. I'm actually looking to grow my practice right now. So I have in talks with a few therapists to bring them on so we can help more people.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Bonnie Rumilli, we really appreciate you joining us in the arena. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you soon.
Very smart. Yeah, great stuff.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you, and
you're welcome.
really grateful for the work you're doing.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Bye.
Amazing woman.
Yes.
And we're going to be back with more in the arena. Talk about what's going on in Australia. Wow, that's a little tease. Little tease.
Boom, boom,
When we get back. Quick message from LifeVac.
She started to choke on a piece of candy.
She wasn't breathing.
Then Ray reached for the LifeVac and it saved her.
She could have easily died that day. A LifeVac saved her life. What I would say is don't need a LifeVac and not have it. Have a LifeVac and hopefully never need it.
Recently, the American Red Cross has added anti-choking devices as an option when standard protocol fails or is not feasible.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-543-3822.
Here we go. Welcome back in the arena. My name is Rick Fatscher. I don't think I ever said my name in the beginning of the show.
You've been Rick the whole night, though.
But I have been the entire night. I'm here with Roadshow Ryan Warner and Patrick O'Rourke. Guys, what'd you think of Bonnie Rumilly.
I think that even she said, going to work. The people at Sandy Hook, we're going to have to, it's going to be a long time working them. I think in our lifetime, in 20, 30 years, you say the name Sandy Hook, that's what you're going to think of. So I think that's stuck to them forever. And yeah, she's going to have to do a ton of work with those people. That kind of thing never goes away, especially when it's younger kids involved.
Yeah, we talk about a community being affected by, say, a life saved from choking.
But it's always more meaningful to us when it's a child. Yeah. Right. If it's someone under the age of 5, you're like, oh, good. I mean, every life is just as important, but a 3 or 4 year old has their whole life to live. Yeah. So that we're always more affected when we hear
tragic passing.
Right. We had a tragic passing in a school in Texas this week. I mean, those are the worst,
Yeah, what do you think hearing that, knowing that Texas just passed a law and every school should be equipped with a LifeVac? Terrible news.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
schools still burned down, even though they have fire extinguishers. I mean, but you still, I don't know if does every school, is it mandatory now?
It's mandatory, but unfortunately, they don't
Didn't
all
get
have
there.
them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Talk about the wheels of government trying to crank it out and get it done. It was supposed to be done by January, and we just lost a life. And I'm sure Arthur is very upset about it.
Yeah. How could you not?
Yeah.
But back to Bonnie. I think her work is very impressive. Very important work that she's doing, working with first responders. And like she said, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to take decades to fix some of these traumas.
Sure, me and Rick could use a couple decades on a couch, probably. Wow. Not just that trauma. We got a lot of trauma, but and our generation was told, just jam it down. Jam it down.
Just bury it.
Yep.
Have a drink. Forget about it. And just our travel traumas.
Just my eating traumas.
Remember we went to the wrong airport?
We've gone to the wrong airport. You've sent me to the wrong airport on the wrong day. I'm like a refugee. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fat white refugee.
You always figure it out, though. You're here.
Yes. Talk about resilience. Yes. We had to be very resilient.
A lot of cursing. You should have seen my tan yesterday because I was red. It was unbelievable.
We got a problem.
I don't want to.
When he opens up the phone conversation with, "We got a problem," I go, "Oh, geez."
No, but when I step up to the counter and it says help desk, and there's a guy standing there. I'm not going to mention the airline.
No help.
But no, I go, hey, my flight I think is, and he goes, what? It's 2:45. He goes, we're not open till 3:10. I go, then why are you behind the counter? Is there someone I can talk to about switching my flight? And he turns and walks away. So I see another lady. She goes, you just got to wait there. So, the whole airline, no one's behind the counter.
And you want answers now because you're
same guy walks out 25 minutes later. I almost jumped the counter and punched him in the face.
And there was no one behind you.
No. Well, no, by the time there was no one behind me at 2:45. By 3:10, there was like 5-6 people behind me.
Okay.
The same guy comes stumbling out.
Yeah, he's a real eagle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I hear about that with customer service.
Well, here's the best part.
Eagles.
Here's the best part. I call Rick and go, you booked me for the wrong day, wrong month. He says, oh my God, I'm sorry. The next text I get is a baby doing Ronald Reagan about a 5 joke. I'm like, is he kidding me? What is this? That was his answer to, hey, I'm really sorry. Hey, check this out.
Humor, laughter is the best medicine.
I'm going to murder him.
I'm surprised you didn't remember that. Laughter is the best medicine.
I was saying, what the F? I thought you was texting me like everything's okay. I switched everything. No, it was a baby doing a Ronald Reagan joke.
Oh.
Right? Anyone else relate to that with Rick? Oh my God.
Yeah. Bad timing.
I almost jogged home from Sarasota.
Bad timing.
Just to whip his ass.
Yeah. So listen to this.
I do.
This is pretty serious stuff going on in Australia. In 2024, Zaire Zaza Bwoga's life was cut short by a choking incident, a preventable event that changed his family and community forever. From this loss grew a mission to ensure every family has the tools and knowledge to respond when seconds matter. Zaza's legacy was created to raise awareness, deliver education, and install life-saving devices where they're needed most. Because choking leaves no time to prepare, our communities can be ready. Zaza's story continues to guide this movement. His life was honored not only in memory, but in action, a call for families, schools, and communities everywhere to be prepared across the globe. Every LifeVac installed, every training delivered, and every conversation shared is part of a promise that Zaza's legacy creates safety and change for others. I mean, right on the screen is the picture of this beautiful young boy who was tragically taken at 4 years old.
Terrible.
And we find out about this Of course, we're going to talk to Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000, after. But what a horrible, horrible story. But we have, unfortunately, we have stories like it where people step up and, in their grief, turn it into something incredibly positive, sharing LifeVac, helping others be prepared and protected. And so this Thursday night, I know the event. Go to zazaslegacy.org.au for Australia.
Spell that.
ZAZASLEGACY. See how I spelled legacy there?
Mhm.
See what I did? .org.au. And Arthur Lee, the inventor and CEO of LifeVac, will be there at this. I would have to imagine he's not doing it in person, right?
No, it's going to be a Zoom.
It's going to be a Zoom or electronic event, but apparently there is a physical presence because they're sold out and there's a waiting list. But please go to that website, zazaslegacy.org.au, and sign the petition. I signed it.
I signed it.
Couldn't sign it fast enough.
Yeah. Auth will have to be, that's like, what's Australia, 13 hours away from us or something?
Oh, gosh. I think it's probably 12 hours in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
Colson's Crew, Maverick's Legacy. I'm trying to remember. Oliver Steeper Foundation, other heroes that in their grief turned it into something positive.
Good people.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else can we do for Zaza Buoga? Just raise awareness.
Yeah. Everybody go to that website and sign that petition.
It works in all countries.
Yeah.
They're really doing great things. So they're all the money that they raise, they're buying LifeVac kits and putting them in schools and different places in the community. So it's a really important thing that you guys should get behind.
Yep. zazaslegacy.org.au. ZAZAS legacy. Now that we have a few minutes before talking to Mr. 3000, let's kind of recap our momentous trip to Fort Myers, Florida. Ryan, you were thrown into action.
I was thrown into action. Wasn't expecting it, but got the job done.
Yes, absolutely. It was putting out fires. You know how to put them out for LifeVac. Now you learn how to put them out for Brian Kilmeade.
Yeah.
Backstage, roses.
And let's be honest, we had
of roses.
Incredible amount of help from Gabby Fatscher.
Yes.
Yeah, she did awesome.
Yeah.
And there's rumors about those two. Just saying.
I heard they're true.
Look at you. He's blushing. Now he's actually tan and blushing. Look at him. Look at the eyes light up when you mention her name.
Pat, we get to this.
Pat, shut up. That's my daughter.
No, we get
Let's move on.
We get to this point in the show or this discussion about the show, and we usually debrief. What happened, or what do we think happened when we were late for a call? Because we were ready. We just didn't hear it.
So he became the stage manager for a second.
Yeah.
We were dressed and ready to go. And he goes, I think he wants you guys.
Yeah.
He hit his cues way too. He always gives us much more time. But we were dressed and right there.
Right.
And I was like, no, he doesn't, does he? Are we walking out there?
Yeah. We walked out onto the stage to the refrain of I can't believe you guys
had to
left
be there.
me hanging. Yeah.
Well, when you see our acting ability, people can wait.
He did well when you guys didn't come out.
Oh, he's always great on his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the one thing he can do is roll with it, and he's seen it, done it all.
There was a cut in my pay. I don't know about your paycheck, but mine was a lot less this month.
You got paid?
Exactly. One scene. Actually, it ended up costing me money for me rebooking my flight back, but that's a whole nother story. No, it was a great time, wasn't it? Big crowd, right?
Big crowd, wonderful, very romantic way to spend Valentine's Day.
Well, of course, we're talking about Brian Kilmeade, who already promotes on his show a lot, his radio show, his TV show. He calls Brian his wingman for helping him out so much with growing LifeVac.
Yep, raising awareness.
Yeah, Brian,
he's credited for saving, Brian Kilmeade and Fox News credited for saving about 30 lives.
Well, Brian was with him from the beginning. I mean,
he's I'm sure it's much more than 30.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's reported. That's what we always yell too. It's like, we'll do the roll call later, how many lives we're up to. But I think it's like double that number. He can attest. He's worked at all the Costco's and says people walk up all the time and say, it saved my aunt, it saved my son, it saved my cousin.
Unreported.
And I didn't report it. Yeah.
Well, we'll be back with Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000.
Good editing.
After this message from LifeVac.
Okay, we're done, Fatso. Let's go.
I was in the living room when I heard my son, Carter, who was 2 at the time,
I looked over and I saw him grabbing for his face and his throat. I grabbed the LifeVac. I put the mask on his face and placed push-pull. The LifeVac dislodged the ice cube from his airway and he started crying. The most amazing sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Please protect your family. Get a LifeVac.
Hey now, welcome back to In the Arena. My name, again, Rick Fatscher, along with Ryan Warner, Pat O'Rourke, saying hello from sunny Massapequa.
Well, we both went to Florida. Look at the difference in skin tone.
Got some color.
You can see through me. I look like an albino.
Pat, as an Irish person, more sensitive to the sun.
Yes.
Do you? Are you an advocate for sunscreen?
Yes. Block all over. And I take chapstick. I'm not kidding.
SPF 45.
Whatever it is. Yeah, like 45 or 60. I put it on my lips, my nose, and my ears. Because I wear baseball hats. But I would go with the floppy bucket hat if I lived down in Florida, just to cover the whole thing.
The exuberance
but
of youth.
I'd need more like an umbrella tent to cover the whole thing. But I still would go with the big.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know who else we grew up with? Big fan of the sunblock. Robert Duffy.
Yes, us Irish tend to melt in the sun. And I was a lifeguard for 6 seasons at Tow Bay. And that's when I used to blister. That's when the sunblock would just wash right off.
That's 3rd degree.
A couple times I was almost on my way to the emergency room. It was crazy. Yeah. Praying for rain the next day just so you could move your arms. And they gave out a vanilla ice cream cone award every year.
Oh, for the whitest at the
for
end
the
of the
whitest
summer?
lifeguard. And I won every year.
Good for you. Good for you. I
Mhm.
bet you're thanking yourself now.
There's
All the work
pictures
that
of
you've
me
done.
actually playing lacrosse, and you can't tell where my socks end and my leg begins wearing white socks.
Amazing. Well, it's this portion of the show. We normally
White
go
privilege.
down to Cape Coral, Florida.
Where
Mr.
we just
3000.
were. Yes.
Hey there, life backers. How we doing?
Long time no see, Ray. How you been?
Long
buddy?
time. Pat, I'm just glad you were able to make it back there, with some issues.
No help to Rick. Trains, planes, and automobiles over here. But it was great.
Note to self, make sure Rick never books a plane ticket for us. Got it.
Not good.
Before you roll out the number, you can tell your story and everything. But I guessed earlier 5454, and one of the producers over here, Gabby, said it's a little higher.
54,
I was surprised I was so
54?
close.
Is it?
Yes.
How does she know?
I'm saying 5459 because it's on the Instagram webpage.
Oh,
it's higher.
Good day.
All right.
But anyway, take
Ray
it away,
was stealing Ray's thunder.
Mr.
That's why he's
Yeah,
here.
what's going on here? Pat, you're fired. Okay, here we go, folks.
I said before
Bobby,
you roll out the number. I'm sorry.
Here we go.
Bobby, go ahead and throw that screen up, buddy.
Oh.
All right, here it is. 5,459. Right on the money.
And was there any more since?
Oh, yeah.
I swear on my mother. Well, my mother's dead. I swear on my kids' heads. I thought she said 54, 57. I go, I bet you it's 2 more already. And that was an hour ago, right, Gabby?
Breaking news.
That's right.
Pat's mom's passed away.
That's the news. Dig her up.
So sorry.
5,459 saves reported saves.
Amazing
Reported
stuff.
saves to date. 3,305 children. We have 2 saves today. 41 this week, which is up just a smidge from our average. Our average is in between 30 and 35. We're at 41 for the week. And we have 2,459 in the last 486 days since I saved my little girl with the device number 3,000.
Princess Maya.
Yes.
Hey, Ray, and for some reason, there's pockets of the community that needs more evidence. Sadly.
For some reason, there's people that still don't believe in the device. They think it'll cause what do they say? Too much damage to the throat and esophagus. Well, last I checked, death is about where it ends. I would much rather have a damaged esophagus
When
than
you're cold and
be
dead, it doesn't matter if your esophagus hurts or not.
That's right. That's right.
And I've got a hint at another change that's going to happen is in promotion or in talking with anyone really, customers, 1 year and above. Just putting it out there.
I like it.
Well, that's what the letter of the law is going to be, but we'll see.
Oh, I hope it is.
We'll see. You have a highlight for us?
I have a good highlight of the
Save
week.
of the week.
Yes. All right, here we go. On February 3rd, a 2-year-old boy, which we'll recap, you guys were just talking, 2-3-year-old children. Those are the big winners when they get saved by LifeVac. So here's a 2-year-old boy was choking on a pretzel, causing total blockage. Protocol was followed and the LifeVac was used. Here's mom's story. He was not breathing, completely purple and unresponsive until the LifeVac was administered. He was sitting on my lap eating a pretzel when he fell over. He didn't sit back up. I pulled him back up and he was purple and unresponsive. I swept his mouth. I tried backflows. Nothing helped. As he got more and more unresponsive, I laid him down on the floor while I grabbed the LifeVac and my daughter called 911. I administered the LifeVac a few times and he started breathing. I was sure my son was going to die before using the LifeVac. I know without a doubt, if I hadn't had a LifeVac, that he wouldn't be alive. And I can attest to that also.
Yep.
So there it is. A 2-year-old boy gets saved with a LifeVac, has the rest of his life to go.
Fill everyone in on Ray's story.
Yeah, Ray. No one tells your story better than you. Is that a dog barking?
That is my dog. Somebody just drove by.
It has saved 2 dogs.
Another
I'm not kidding, right? It's actually LifeVac has saved 2 dogs.
Yes, I've heard it has saved a couple of dogs. So yeah, my story. I was driving home from a birthday party. My daughter was in the back seat, my wife in the passenger seat, and what do you have at birthday parties? Candy everywhere. So she was eating some candy on the way home, got a piece stuck in her throat, total obstruction. And again, she's one of 5. I have many kids, so I'm not a gentle parent when I say I attempted backflows. But again, I hear those dreaded words. She's not breathing.
Wow.
That right there. That's any parent's nightmare. Pull the car over. I jump out, run around, pull her out. And when I say I did backflows, I don't know how she survived backflows, let alone anything else.
Right.
I tried 4 or 5 backflows and nothing was working. I laid her down in the grass on the side of the road. Pulled out the LifeVac. Place, push, pull. 1 time. Boom.
Do you think it was, Ray, do you think it was wedged in there or there was not air beneath for the other methods to not work?
For the body blows not to work, yeah.
And honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Don't care.
I couldn't tell you. I have no clue why the backflows didn't work, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So there I am stuck on the side of the road. Nobody around to help. No first responders around to help.
And 2 other motorists.
It was the LifeVac that saved my daughter, and long and behold, as the ordeal is unfolding, and my daughter starts to breathe again, I have a chance to actually catch my breath, look around, and there's 2 other motorists pulling over with a LifeVac.
That's
great stuff.
That's great.
What are the odds? So again, first responders are amazing. We love our first responders, but on a good day, they're 4 to 6 minutes away, if not longer.
Yeah.
And 4 to 6 minutes is brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just LifeVac. Get it.
Yeah.
Take us out, you're saying.
All right, here we go. LifeVac. It's better to have it than not need it, than need it and not have it. The life you save could be your own, could be a friend, could be a stranger. Who knows? Get a LifeVac. Save a life. Good night and God bless.
Wow. God bless you, Ray. Mr. 3K from Cape Coral, Florida. Really amazing stuff. And gosh, he gets emotional every week. I don't blame him.
Well, even every time I see his beautiful daughter, you get, and when you see her in person, it hits you more too. So I've met her twice now. It's amazing.
Yeah. So you met Ray, you met Princess Maya, and we were able to work together at the 5,000 Live Save Party. I mean,
Ryan works everywhere and doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
When's he gonna start making some bucks on this? He
Who do I have to
produces.
talk to about that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. You're an assistant producer all the time.
I wish it was me.
AP.
I mean, because amazing work that you did, not only in the 5,000 Live celebration, just in the leading up to, and that videotape that you so beautifully put together with how much editing experience again? How many years?
0 minutes.
Yeah. So people at Fox are actually
0
saying we got to
minutes.
use, we're going to use him for our stuff.
Yeah. And that wraps up another powerful conversation here in the arena. A big thank you to our special guest, Bonnie Rumili, for stepping forward and sharing her insight, her passion, and her commitment to making a difference where it counts most. And as always, thank you to our sponsor, LifeVac, because being prepared isn't optional when lives are on the line. If today's conversation moved you, challenged you, or inspired you, don't just listen, act. Step into your arena. Lead where you stand. Serve where you're planted. That's it. That's strong. Until next time, stay ready, stay courageous, and we'll see you back in the arena. Mike Rowe, take us out.
It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.